What's going on, everybody? So I'm going to start this off. You know what's kind of crazy is I did this 2 weeks ago, and I had no idea what to expect. I had never gone live before on YouTube, and you guys showed up not only during the live, which was amazing, but you asked some really good questions. And after the thing finally posted up on the channel, I had like 2,000 views or so, lots of other comments coming in. I'm like, I think I'm onto something here. So this was pretty cool. I love being able to interact with you guys. I get a lot of texts and emails asking a lot of the same questions. And so being able to go live like this, answer a lot of your guys' questions is pretty cool. I definitely appreciate the opportunity for you guys to spend some time with me on Saturday. My idea, I'm going to start doing these at least once a month. I actually did get some extra studio space. This is just one of our ancillary offices, but we're going to build out a little studio, and I'm going to start bringing in other local people that are business owners here, people that have relocated here. We're going to make it a cool little show at least once a month. My goal is that really eventually get to be a weekly show, but a lot of cool interaction. So again, I appreciate it. So why don't we do this? Make sure you like the video right now. If you are watching live, it will let it start showing up in feed of other people. If you have questions that you prepared or you just kind of been curious, there's no wrong questions on any of this. I really just love talking real estate, love Orlando, love the theme parks. And so I think that's really what these lives are going to be about, is just life in Orlando, real estate, and theme parks. And so if you have any questions around those topics, make sure you drop those below. So until those start coming in, I'm going to drop in and kind of just talk a little bit about a couple of things that popped up in Orlando over the past week. So the Orlando Business Journal actually broke a story that Disney is looking to move some of its office space and some of its headquarters from California to the Lake Nona area. And that's a really big deal for a lot of us, because if you look at Lake Nona in general, I've said for years that I think Lake Nona is going to be kind of the place where a lot of people are drawn to and live for the technology, for the healthcare industry, for everything popping up over there. But if Disney starts relocating some of their office space, that area is just going to continue to blow up, both from the real estate space. They're going to need more office space, which Tavistock is more than happy to oblige. And I think that's going to be a really cool thing for Orlando if we do get more of a Disney corporate presence here. And we're already the hub, right? So I think it's a really big deal. So add that to already what's going on with the crazy real estate market, and it's going to be quite nuts. And so let's talk a little bit about real estate. So I did a deep dive over the past week, and I said, okay, what's going on in the different price brackets in both Orange County, Osceola, and Lake County? And I wanted to figure out, hey, Abby, how are you? I wanted to say what's going on, because I know the buyers that I'm working with right now, it's been unbelievably hard to get a great home for a great price without getting into multiple offers or not having to show up at the house the day it gets listed. And we had seen some of that last year, but nothing like we're seeing today. Like usually, there's a house that's listed for 500 and the comparables are all, roughly 500, and you just go in at the list price or close to it and you get the house. Now people are having to pay over ask price, shorten that closing time, shorten the inspection time to really be able to have a shot at getting the house. It's quite nuts. In all the price points. So I did a search between $0 and $300,000, and there's currently in Orange County, there's 1,400 homes that are currently listed. Just in the past month, there's been 1,500 to sell, which would mean we're in roughly a 1 month supply of homes in that price bracket, which is a strong seller's market. When I took it from 300 to 600, same thing. If I took it from 600 to $1 million, it got to be about 40 days. So still a very strong market. And to have the luxury market, like $1 million plus, be in that really strong seller's market is something we haven't seen in probably 4 years. 2 years ago, we had like a 3-year supply of luxury homes, and now those homes are getting snapped up like crazy. And so it doesn't matter where you're at, the entry level all the way up to the really high end luxury market. I'm seeing spec homes get bought up $4, $5, $6 million on the water. So yeah, it's an interesting time to be in real estate and to be moving here. I think that you guys, if you're interested in Orlando and you are moving here or you currently live here, you're onto something, right? There's something cool going on here in Orlando. It's the theme parks, yes. It's the weather. It's the we're kind of more of an open state. So while people are still being safe, there's restaurants are still open. You can kind of feel some normalcy in life there, and so I think it's a good spot. I'm glad we moved here, and so definitely glad for you guys watching and considering moving here as well. So Abby said you're moving to Vera in 14 months. What's bringing you to Vera? Just curious. Vera Beach. Coastal New England. Yeah, so definitely, I'll get to that question right at the end. We'll do some Q&A. Super good question. Very in terms of affordability and that kind of thing. Oh, let me ask you this real quick. So if you guys are following this YouTube live, make sure you check out my Instagram as well. I interact a lot with folks just like you, and I'm always posting stuff about new restaurants opening up, the theme parks. We're always trying to tour. We're annual pass holders, so we're always at the parks just showing the new rides and that kind of thing, new listings that we take, all that good stuff as well. So definitely keep you guys engaged. Last thing, so what else is coming up? Oh, Gideon's. If you guys don't know what Gideon's Cookies is, they just opened their grand opening today. This is insane. It's in Disney Springs. It's my favorite little cookie bake shop over in Winter Park was where their original location was. And they only did like batches for the day. Like they would do a couple cookie types. And after they sold their 300 or 400 cookies for the day, they were closed. And so a lot of times they would sell out at like 2 or 3 o'clock and then they were done for the day. Well, they started selling them at Disney Springs at the Polite Pig. And then they opened up their own location. Today was their grand opening. And get this, they started the virtual queue at 9 a.m. and they had a 9-hour wait 30 minutes into the day. That's insane. And so Steve, who owns Gideon's, is like an incredible guy. And so just excited to see like local business owners get to like get into the Disney space and dominate and do really, really well. I'm super excited to go try it out and see the new space. Actually, we're going to shoot a video there, and there's a new donut shop at Disney Springs. We're going to shoot a video there this week. So let's get into some Q&A here. So S. Murphy says, will the vaccine encourage more people to list their house and cool the market a bit? You know, I hope so. The biggest thing that I'm talking to sellers about is like, if they list their house, where do they go? You know, it's like, hey, I know I can sell my house. I know I can get top dollar, but I don't want to leave Orlando. Maybe they just want to make a lateral move across town, or maybe they want lakefront and they've lived, you know, something else. And so that's the biggest problem we're seeing is just they don't know where to go. I don't know. It has to do more with the vaccine than anything. I do think that as the vaccine gets more widespread, that we're going to see a lot more tourists, that Disney will open up more. And so that's just going to kind of continue to exacerbate the market, make it even a little tougher. But yeah, we'll see. John says he hopes the crypto market goes crazy so he can buy one of those units in Winter Park. Yeah, man, you and me both. I got into a little bit of Bitcoin and it did well for me over the past year, but we'll see. That stuff is so stinking up and down. So Anil says, what's the humidity in Orlando compared to Tampa and Miami? You know, compared to Tampa, I think it's very similar. You actually have some of the breeze in Tampa from the bay. Orlando is a little bit more inland, but we have a constant breeze. You get used to it. If you're living here, I would say it takes a good summer or two, and then you're used to the humidity and the heat. Right now, it's 50 something out, and to me, it feels freezing, but it'll warm up here in a minute. So anyways, what else in terms of real estate? Oh, new construction. So I've got reports that I pay for. Dodge Construction is like the website. They put out these reports on all of these different builders that are they're buying up land, developing. Where are we seeing that? And so finally, we're seeing some of these developers start diving in and doing more developments in like Winter Garden. We're seeing a lot in Lake Nona. We're seeing stuff out in Lake County. Obviously, there's a lot more land in Lake County than anywhere else right now. And so we're starting to see these developers start to fast track some of their developments that they thought were going to take until 2022, 2023, and they're putting them up right now. And so there was a new development over in Winter Garden by Dreamfinders, and they just opened up last week. I think there's 400 lots in their new development, and they had like 13 reservations in the first week. And so to see kind of like how many people are that's how tight our market is right now. It's pretty crazy. So Abby says that she's moving from New England, and the price isn't selling the same market in Florida. What are our thoughts about selling now and renting until you're ready to move while the market is hot? I mean, so if you're talking about selling now and then renting up there and then coming down when you're ready, that's not a bad idea. You know, take advantage of the market while it's hot, get top dollar, and then rent something. I mean, I hate renting because I think it is throwing away money, but it does allow you to be a little bit more nimble. It's the buy problem. The problem isn't the selling, it's the buying problem right now. So selling where you're at, moving down to rent until you find something that you love, that's probably the move. Because again, finding something overnight. You got to jump on it as soon as it's listed. So what we're doing for a lot of our clients is we're going into the areas that they're really interested in, and we're door knocking, sending out letters, phone calls, using our network to try to find off-market deals in areas, because that's kind of what you have to do in order to get a deal nowadays. It's an interesting time to be in, that's for sure. All right, so what else we got here? So what else do I got here? Those are really the main topics that I had for today in terms of real estate market. I mean, it continues to be kind of crazy. Oh, down in the resort market, I know a lot of people that watch from the UK. You guys own second homes here, and the Airbnb really got hit over the past couple months, right? It was a bit tougher to keep your places rented. And so we saw days on market start to creep up on people from Canada and Brazil and the UK decide to just list their house. And that created sort of a gluttony of homes. That was the only market in Orlando that really started to see a slowdown of the market. That's completely started reversing over the past month. So getting a lot of people from like New York, New Jersey, California, Seattle, they're all coming here to either buy a second home or to relocate here. And really the most affordable like pool homes and resort communities are these Airbnb neighborhoods. And so you've got a lot of people, that inventory is coming down. We saw it go from pre-pandemic levels. Average days on market was like 75 days, then that ballooned to a year. So it took you a really long time. And a lot of houses just weren't even selling in the resort market only. And now those have started creeping down to where like a 4-month supply of homes, which is like a really balanced market, if you will. And so that's a positive thing to see. And yeah, I think it's exciting. Tim asks, how big of an issue are alligators and mosquitoes? Everyone who doesn't live in Florida is telling me that if I move there, they're going to be a problem. So really good question. So alligators, you see alligators all the time. Every body of water most likely has a snake or an alligator. And so you just know not to get super close. If you see them swimming around, stay away. You don't mess with them, right? You just stay away. But we've lived here and we've not had any issues. If you look at like online, like again, this is not, go online and figure out how many alligator attacks have happened in Florida. It's actually not nearly as many as you'd think. It's a very small number. Mosquitoes become an issue in the fall and like at night, right? If you back up to conservation or you back up to a pond or some of those other things, a lot of us have like mister systems in our backyard. So you push a button, it sprays this like orange citrus all over the grass and kills a lot of the bugs. So that's a really popular thing. We also have like Home Team comes out and they spray. So it gets rid of the bugs. It makes it more bearable, not as bad as you would think. And no, again, it's the trade-off for having amazing weather 365. So yeah, that's great. Anil says, is Dr. Phillips the best place if we're looking to be closest to everything, shopping, dining, access to freeways? I love Dr. Phillips. I mean, there's so much coming on here. Like my office is in Dr. Phillips. I'm looking out at Volcano Bay over at Universal. And so it's really close to great shopping. You've got Restaurant Row here, which is like, they've got like 150 different restaurants, everything from Chick-fil-A for your fast casual up to like Seasons 52, Fleming's, nicer kind of Ruth's Chris kind of stuff. And it's a good spot in terms of being equidistant to everything. You've got Universal, you're 20 minutes from Disney, 30 minutes from the airport, 50 minutes from the beach. So it's a good spot for sure. Highly rated schools, all that good stuff. It's just the big problem with Dr. Phillips is there's not a lot of new construction anymore. So if you like new construction, your options are super limited and they are very expensive. They're getting to be, start in the 700s and go up to a couple million. And then everything else that's more affordable needs work. And so you've got sort of a lot of people had pushed out to Windermere and Winter Garden and to get the new construction lifestyle. Now all of those are getting sold out. So people are coming back to Dr. Phillips, buying some of these old houses, renovating them and moving in. And so it's kind of an interesting trend to just kind of see the ebbs and flows of what's popular, what's in vogue for now. But I think it's a great place to invest and to live. Abby says, what are your thoughts around Winter Park? And where's a recommendation for a community for families? So, it's interesting. I'm not allowed to talk like as a real estate agent. And unfortunately, because I'm a licensed broker, I'm not like allowed to say like a family area or a safe area or the best schools. Like those are all no-nos for us as licensed agents. But Winter Park in general is just a fantastic community. It's its own city, right? So it's not part of Orlando. It's definitely has the most expensive real estate in all of Orlando. The average sales price there is $1 million. But they've got a really cool downtown. Like it's an older city, so you've got some of those old Spanish Mediterranean houses, some of those mid-modern century houses, and then teardowns that are worth, again, $4, $5, $6 million and everything in between. So it's a cool hodgepodge. It's not a tract neighborhood. So I love Winter Park. I think it's a beautiful area, and you're only 15, 20 minutes from downtown Orlando, which is cool. Matthew asks, do I have any updates on Island Village and Celebration? Matthew, I do. Okay, and here's the update. Unfortunately, is that they were going to release lots in 14 days. Then it went to February, and now it's talking about the 1st of March when they're actually going to release lots back there. And so they keep pushing. So that's now a full year behind, and a lot of it I think was coronavirus related. But they've got 2 or 3 of their model homes like 90% finished, but they're still working on the bridge. They're still working on infrastructure. They want to make it look like really, really nice before they open the doors to public. But I've got a long list of people that want in there. And so if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. I'll put you on that. They should be letting me know a couple days before they let the whole public know on when the lots are going to be released and pricing and that sort of thing. So yeah, I love that Island Village. What's coming is going to be pretty amazing once they finally get it off the ground. Have I heard if they're still building the Crystal Lagoon in Lake Nona? Yes, they're actually moving dirt there now. So that's going to be an amazing hotel concept by Tavistock, the Lake Nona Hotel. It's going to be quite amazing. So if you drive up and down over by KPMG and the USTA, it's going to be right next to that. And they're moving dirt right now. So my guess is that they're going to be going vertical soon. Marco says, can you find homes under 400,000 in Lake Nona? So if you're looking at Laureate Park in Lake Nona, which a lot of people want to be close to town center, no, the four under 400s kind of gone away unless you're willing to do a townhome, which is totally doable in the 400s or under 400. If you want to start pushing up over off of Narcoossee to Eagle Creek and some other places, even still there, it's going to be tough under 400 unless you're talking townhome. If you go up to Moss Park, which is the next exit from Lake Nona, you can still get stuff in the 300s, no problem. Single family home, 3-4 bedroom, 2.5 bath in the 300s. So you're close enough to Lake Nona be able to take advantage of everything going on there, but you're just far enough removed to where you're good to go. So Dr. Askney says that, sorry if I said that wrong, that he's considering buying a house in Davenport, but he works in Maitland. And so living there for a couple of years and then renting it out. I mean, that's a drive, man. That's a drive, especially once I-4 gets to be back to capacity with the tourists. You're going to get caught in that every day. I did that drive for a while from Celebration up to Dr. Phillips in my office, and it's tough. And so, yeah, it's tough. That's all I can tell you. You get a lot of house for your money in Davenport, which is why so many people live there. And Providence is a great neighborhood because you've got, it's gated. You've got the Gulf. You've got just a ton of stuff there, and so it's a really great place to be. But you're kind of removed, right? So you're buying ahead of the curve. I think they just put the Publix over on the corner. There's 7-Eleven coming in. There's really not much out there, right? So that's why you're getting so much house for such a great price. So there's a lot of good places up in Maitland though. I mean, I just sold a house in Longwood this morning. Beautiful, beautiful area. Older homes for sure. And you're not going to get the gated, you're not going to get the 4,000 square foot house for $600,000. But you might want to consider buying up closer to work. Citrus says, how is development in northern Davenport, Champions Gate come along? In older forums, they talk about it being rural. That's a good question. So Champions Gate is not rural at all now. All of 27 has been built up in a big, big, fast way. So much so that traffic becomes an issue when it's high season. And so you just got to make sure you're paying attention to that on that kind of stuff. They are, eventually widening I-4 down that area, bringing that toll road that they're currently working on up towards the city down through there. It should alleviate that. I believe they're doing a new turnabout around Champions Gate. They just need it because you got Champions Gate and Reunion, and then I-4 kind of runs in the middle. And so just tons of traffic that kind of like merges up to go up to Disney and up to downtown. So right now, yeah, Champions Gate's beautiful. They're like Lennar, who is building out like the neighborhood Champions Gate. They're building like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes, and they're building new amenities and just different stuff like that to kind of keep up with everything going on. So yeah, it's quite crazy. All right. I'll make sure I'm not missing any. There's a bunch of them that came in here. Yeah, so Champions Gate, it's still a great area. I mean, it used to be so much like more resorts, and now it is starting to shift a little bit, not completely, but you've got a lot of those older communities. And like when I say older, it's like 18 to 20 years old. Not very old if you're from like the Northeast, but 18 to 20-year-old neighborhoods that were really popular Airbnb neighborhoods. They're starting to shift to long term, and reason being is because if you're renting out Airbnb, most people want something new and fresh, and they don't want to stay in that older house. But people that maybe can't afford Winter Garden or don't want to afford Winter Garden are moving down to that Davenport area, buying those 20-year-old homes, just refreshing them and saving $150,000 for that extra 10-minute drive, if that makes sense. So that whole Davenport area, I think, is going to continue to blow up. What's up, Jeremy? What's up, man? Love me some Jeremy and crew. Yeah, so Dr. Axe Sky said, again, he's looking at maybe buying in Providence for an investment in proximity to Disney. Yeah, you could always rent it out. Make sure, and not all of Providence is short-term rental. There's like a couple hundred homes that are short-term rental, and the rest of it is long-term. And so you have to make sure you're paying attention. I think the long-term play is actually an easier investment than Airbnb. This is a question I get several times a day. Hey, can I get an Airbnb, buy that house, rent it out while I'm not there, and have it pay for itself? Well, pre-pandemic, yeah, you definitely could. And then it really depends on if you're going to self-manage or not, because you've got a lot of people that like the property managers, they charge 30 to 40% of your gross rents. They take that for their marketing and their overhead. And so that's really your profit margin. And really a lot of times these Airbnbs lose money. And so long-term rentals from an investment standpoint actually make more sense. But if you're just looking to offset your second home, then short-term is a great idea. I mean, it just kind of go into it with the right mindset. And I've done videos on this before, just kind of like the economics around short-term rentals and just making sure that you're going in with eyes wide open. I think that's important. Are there any neighborhoods in Winter Garden, Windermere, Dr. Phillips area to build custom homes with big lot sizes? Big lot sizes is kind of a funny term in Orlando, because so many of our neighborhoods you could jump from roof to roof. Bella Colina is a fantastic option if you want like a big lot size to build a custom home. You can have like 1 acre lots out that way. It is a little bit farther from everything. It's like 35 minutes from Disney. You're out there. It's in Mount Verde, so maybe 15 minutes from downtown Winter Garden. But I mean, if you're looking for, again, like an estate-sized lot to build a custom home on, that's a great spot to take a look at. What are my thoughts around Sunbridge master plan by Tavistock? I think it's going to blow up that whole area. I think it's going to be the connector for St. Cloud and Lake Nona, and that's already kind of Narcoossee's already kind of bridging that gap. So Sunbridge is going to be exciting. I mean, it's just exciting. I think anything Tavistock does, they do it with excellence. They do a really good job. There's some developers that are they cheap out on everything that they do, and Tavistock doesn't, and they charge more for it, right? So like there's a reason why Laureate Park is more expensive than Eagle Creek or some of these other places, right? Because they've got the CDD, they've got all the things that go into it, but they control it really well to where it's excellent. I think that's what you want when you're investing in real estate. You want to be surrounded by excellence. I mean, I do anyways. There's any news on the connector road into Lake Lake County. So, hey Matthew, are you talking about the connector road between like Disney all the way through Winter Garden up through into Lake County? If you are, yeah, that's ongoing. That's something that they're building right now. They're digging roads. So I'm guessing in the next 18 months to 2 years, Winter Garden and Claremont are going to be a lot easier to get to. Yeah, yeah. So he said yes. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So Western Way now connects all the way from the back end of Disney all the way back through to Avalon. So that's done and open, and that's going to make like Winter Gardens drop down into Flamingo Crossing, which we can talk about in a minute here, really easy. And so now you can get from Disney back to Winter Garden like even faster. And then so within the next 2 years, you're going to be able to get from Disney to Claremont in like a minute or 20 minutes instead of right now where it takes you down to 192, up over to 27, up 27 into Claremont. It's like harder to get to. Eventually, it's going to make it way easy in comparison. So yeah, that's going to be a huge for all of us that live in the area, for sure. What else here? All right, so while you guys are adding some more comments, I'm going to kind of say one more time, listen, make sure you like this video. It does help me a lot show up back in the feed of all of our other subscribers. The amount of subscribers that are adding every week, every day is humbling. I love putting out content. My team and I were always kind of come up with new ideas though as well. So make sure you're dropping in suggestions. Right now we do mostly like luxury home tours, life in Orlando, a little bit of Disney. We're going to kind of continue to lean into that into 2021 and beyond. But I'd love to hear what you guys think because it really does help us with our content calendar schedule on like what you guys are interested in. And the more feedback I get, the better the videos get. And so it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, John mentioned, that's interesting. Like, the Claremont area, he likes the Claremont area, but didn't want to drive to Disney. Yeah, right now it's tough, especially if you get the 192 traffic when it's like high season. It's really tough to get from Disney up and around to Claremont, but eventually it's going to be easier and easier. And I think that that's really, like I said it on our last live, is like the Winter Garden area is almost built out. And the prices there are getting more and more expensive. So like the next place people are pushing is Claremont. And as soon as you give some accessibility to that area, I think it's going to blow up. It'll be a really good investment, assuming that, a couple things happen, like this connector road continues to happen and the developers do what they say they're going to do. Matthew says food reviews. We should do more food reviews. So we're going to do this Gideon's, which I'm already a fanboy. So I'm going to preface that. It's going to be a great review because they do amazing bakery. It's an amazing bakery. But the new donut shop at Disney Springs, we're going to do that. We're looking at there's a ton of different microbreweries around here. So my team and I were talking about going to visit a bunch of those and kind of figure out which some of the best ones were around here. But yeah, it's going to be cool. All of the new stuff popping up. I don't know if you guys know what a food hall is, but there's a food hall in downtown Winter Garden. There's a new one coming to Hamlin in Winter Garden. It's going to be 22,000 square feet. And they're going to have, I think, at least 20 different vendors. And they're just like little pop-ups. They're really cool. It's a new concept for Orlando. I'm sure they have them elsewhere in the country. But these little artisans, like in downtown Winter Garden, they've got a little donut shop, a little meat market, a pizza shop, sushi place. And they're not big. They're like 10 by 10 booths, they're cool. It's just, again, I think Orlando needs more non-chain restaurants. And so bringing some of that stuff, a little bit more quality, a little bit more family owned, I'm all about that. So PC24 says, what's the best way to find quick move-ins in the Orlando area? If you say quick move-ins, that's usually like a builder term. And so if you're looking like a quick move-in, new construction, we keep a list of everything. My team and I, we do a lot of new construction. And so every Monday we talk to all of the builders and we say, hey, what do you have coming up? What deals fell apart last week that you need to now sell that spec home to somebody? We do that a lot. So make sure you just reach out via email, ken@pozekgroup.com, and I can keep you updated on any spec homes, quick move-ins that pop up. Stephen asks, is Reunion a good place to buy? The HOAs are confusing. Ooh, that's a good question. And they vary so much. I'm from the UK looking to rent when I'm not there. Really good question, Stephen. So I think Reunion is probably one of the better short-term rental communities there is in terms of quality and what you get for the money on the purchase price of the home. Now, the HOA fees are confusing because on like a condo or some of the other houses, they're like anywhere from $250 to $450 a month for the HOA fee. But that only includes the guard gate the main amenities for the neighborhood, like the parks and some other stuff. It does not include all of the pools because there's like 12 pools, and it doesn't include golf. And so if you want to include all of the pools and the water park, you have to pay for a social membership. If you want to pay for golf, then you have to pay for the next step up, which is the golf membership, which also includes the social membership. And so the last little caveat there is that not every home or lot in the neighborhood has a reunion membership attached to it. And they just changed ownership last March that said that they're not going to sell any new memberships. And so if you want the social membership and you're willing to pay that extra $400 to $800 a month for that golf membership or social membership, you have to buy a property that has a membership attached to it already and pay a $7,500 transfer fee. Hope that makes sense. And so there's some people, like I just sold a condo, somebody that was living in Ireland. I sold their reunion condo that had a membership. The buyer said, no, I'm not going to pay the transfer fee. And I said, well, you understand, if you don't pay the transfer fee, you're not going to be able to sell it and have that marketability of being able to say, hey, listen, you're going to want this because you can do all of these other things. It is a little confusing, but hopefully that made it a little bit more clear for you, bud. William, good to see you, man. There's food halls in Tampa. I love them. I think they're a really cool concept, and especially like as a dad, like I've got 3 kids. They always want something different. You show up at a food hall, my wife and I can get something we enjoy. The kids always get something that they enjoy. It's cool. It's really cool. Hey, Melissa. Hey. All right, let's see. Todd says, with so many people moving to the area, at what point are the theme parks too crowded to enjoy? That's a great question. So they're always adding new stuff to the theme parks, right? There's always a new park. There's always a new ride to take away some of the crowd. But there was times pre-pandemic that Magic Kingdom, even on just like a normal summer day, they shut it down because they were at capacity. So for me, we love like tomorrow we're going to Epcot. We're going to pop in for 3 or 4 hours and leave. And so it doesn't have to be like when you're living here and you've got an annual pass holder, and I'm sure they're going to open that program back up again. You just pop in, pop out, you ride a ride, you grab some food and you leave. And that becomes kind of your lifestyle. And so for us, we're always at Disney Springs. We're always at one of the parks, and we don't think it's overcrowded. Like even pre-pandemic, it didn't feel overcrowded to us. Some of the traffic was a little bad when you got up and down I-4, but other than that, it's just what you get for living in a resort area. But even if you're not a huge Disney fan, like if you're watching this because you want to move to the area and you're not a huge Disney fan, or maybe you would only use it every once in a while, there's plenty of areas where you can live and not be anywhere near feeling like it's tourism. It's just beautiful suburbs, amazing neighborhoods, good schools, that kind of thing. So there's a lot depending on what you're looking for. Yeah, Melissa mentioned that a lot of people go to Hollywood Studios because of the Star Wars stuff. Yeah, it's actually that's like the ticket to get, right? Is the reservation for Hollywood Studios. It gets for even annual pass holders. We have to usually reserve that a week in advance just to be able to get on. All right, so Amanda Marie says, hey, Ken, what do you consider the best community to move into if you were going to choose for yourself? I would think so for me, I'm, realtor hat off. I'm married with 3 kids. I'm a business owner, all of those kind of things. Winter Garden made sense for us because we could get the most amount of money. It also had really good schools. It was also equidistant to everywhere I needed to be. It's close to Disney, right? That checks our list. So like, when someone says, where's the best place to live in Orlando? That's the best because it checks off everything for me. If you're like, hey, schools don't matter, or, proximity to parks don't matter, then you're going to choose somewhere else. I think that Lake Nona to me is underrated. I said this in a video the other day. Like, to me, I think the ability for Tavistock to continue building out Lake Nona, that becomes a great buy. And so you're still close to the airport, close to Disney, close to new shopping, close to all these other things. I think that's a great place to buy. So it just depends. So if you have some other questions, or you're like, hey, I want some suggestions based on our lifestyle and what's important, just shoot me an email or a DM and I'll give you some suggestions for sure. Thanks, John. John says I'm your favorite YouTube realtor, dude. That means a lot. That means a lot. We're putting a lot into this. So, Melissa wants to move away from Miami to East Oviedo for more land and animals. We also homeschool and want freedom and no HOAs. Yeah, Oviedo is a great area. Actually, I just put out a video. Well, it's going to drop this week on the top 7 suburbs of Orlando, and Oviedo is one of them. I mean, from a price point, all of that kind of stuff, Oviedo is a great area. It's far. To me, it's far from everything. But like once you get out there, you're near UCF. You've got shopping. Like once you're out there, you're good. You're in your own little subset. Getting to the airport, downtown, things like that takes a little bit longer, but you get a lot for your money. So I think that makes sense if that's what you're looking to do. Yeah, Bob. Bob says, thanks for the info on Western Way and Avalon. Avalon's a stone's throw away from us in Winter Garden. Yeah, they're widening Avalon too, right? So it used to be this little back road that took forever to get up and down. Now it's 4 lanes, and they're taking that from the top of Winter Garden all the way down through to 192 eventually. So like Avalon's going to go from like this back road to like a main thoroughfare. It's fun. Like to me, like as a real estate agent for like loving the development side of this, like I love being able to see like in our neighborhood where we used to live, used to be this little 2-track to get there. And now it's a 4-lane, all this stuff coming in. And it's like, the community comes together. We're giving our input to the developers. It's going really well. It's fun to see it grow up. Really fun, really fun. Joel asks, are rates starting to creep up a little higher again? They are. So they fluctuate literally every day. But like as the stock market usually does better, the bond market does a little bit worse, and rates usually follow the bond market. And so as you see a little dip in the stock market, usually interest rates kind of bump up a bit. So we had seen them pop up, but they're still hovering right around 3%. So depending on your credit, how long you're putting in for a mortgage, it's going to depend on what you're getting back on interest rates. And so yeah, I mean, it's the crazy cheap money. Honestly, like if I had to be on, like I hope interest rates do creep up, like selfishly, because if interest rates creep up a little bit better, it's going to be great for everybody's retirement. And then maybe it'll slow down our market a little bit and kind of keep these prices from going up too fast. Like I'm all about appreciation, but when you're talking about 10% in a year, it gets to be really tough for that first time home buyer. It gets to be tough because the middle buyer doesn't really have anywhere to go, but it's a tough thing. So I honestly think if interest rates jumped up a little bit, that would be okay. That would be okay for me. So, all right. That's about it I got for today. I kind of went through my main list. The next time you guys see me live in February, it's going to be, we're going to be in our little studio, and I'm going to have a little bit more formatted. We got some cool graphics that we're bringing in, so I can drop in some houses and some articles that I find. So it's not just me talking at a camera. It'll be a little bit more visual. So again, for those of you that stuck around for 37 minutes, again, that means the world to me that you'd spend some time on your Saturday, or if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'm at Ken Pozek. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And I hope you guys make it a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Talk soon.